and static thing. Cultures keep changing just as people do, and the CHiNOY culture is just one way in which cultures kept changing. And I learned that there wasn't just one way of being Filipino. There were many ways to do so, and being CHiNOY was a valid way of being Filipino. I think that this campaign is really important in helping bridge the gap between whatever miscommunications we might have with other cultures and other people. There are times when people misunderstand what it means to be CHiNOY. They don't understand sometimes that the Philippines is still our home and that we are still Filipinos, even with our different experiences. And I appreciate that this campaign helps bridge that gap and to clarify those misconceptions that people have. I'm inviting you to watch CHiNOY TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart.
Hi, I'm Rob Jam. I'm a illustrator, comic book creator, art director, and friend. Well, I just wanted to make comics as a kid. I didn't know it could be a career. I think even if you are from a Filipino family, if you tell them you want to be an artist, they're kind of afraid of it. Because yeah, there's such a misconception of how you can make money in art. I know that the Filipino-Chinese community or the Chinese community, it's so focused on what's sure to be a successful career path or a successful business or a successful whatever. And then art is such a thing outside of that. I feel very honored to be part of this because, yeah, I knew I was always a part of this community, but I've never really felt like recognition from it, or that anyone in the Chinese-Filipino community or Filipino-Chinese community cared, because yeah, like there's that whole expectation that they don't know much about art or they see art as just, well, waste of time, that kind of thing. And I'm inviting you to watch CHiNOY TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart.
My name is Stan C. I'm a radio DJ, a podcaster, a voice talent, an events host, and a writer. All things that you're not expected to be when you're CHiNOY. I grew up in a traditional, stereotypical Chinese-Filipino household. So my dad is pure Chinese born in the Philippines. And my mom is literal na mestiza because my maternal grandmother was Bisaya. She came from Leyte. And yung maternal grandfather ko, who I never met, was an immigrant from China. So I really got it all in the sense na talagang Chinese-Filipino ako, and I can't just be one without the other. I feel privileged to be part of the One CHiNOY campaign because I want to be the voice that starts these uncomfortable conversations, and it's high time that they happen because we have to look at who we are to understand where we come from. And that's a conversation that's long overdue. It's time to shock the system. And I'm inviting you to watch CHiNOY TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart.
Hi, my name is Tim Yap. I'm a host and eventologist. I'm proud to be CHiNOY because I know I come from a bloodline of hard work. I come from a place where tough love was the norm, where we always had to work hard to get to where we are. It was always one step at a time. Nothing was given to us on a silver platter. I love being part of this One CHiNOY campaign because it reminds us that we are one, right? That we are in a world that's becoming so tribal and into each other's, we need reminders that hey, we are all one and the same. And I'm inviting you to watch CHiNOY TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart.
I'm Wilson Lee Flores. I'm in the real estate business. Also, my hobby is writing a column in Philippine Star. I also own a bakery in Quezon City. I have Chinese and I have Filipino culture. That's 100% Filipino, 100% Chinese. So I'm 200% of a person. I'm 200% richer as a person. It's not like, there's no need to balance. I have to continuously learn to be both. Every single culture that enriches us is important. We should always analyze ourselves in order to be better human beings. And our ethnic Chinese minority in the Philippines, non-stop changes. We are experiencing non-stop changes every generation. We should be better. We should always strive to be better. By cherishing our heritage and our values, learning from our ancestors in order to be a benefit to the Philippines. I'm inviting you to watch CHiNOY TV presents Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart.
The modern CHiNOY.
Where are you from? I said, I'm from the Philippines. But how come you speak Chinese? So there's always that ambiguity. Are you really Filipino or are you Chinese?
I've been asking questions all my life, like, am I Filipino enough or am I Chinese enough?
And then my uncle looks at me, you do TV? Hello, you're too singkit. So, meaning ba pag singkit, hindi ka pwede mag-TV?
At that time, it was at the height of the island dispute, and the CHiNOYs have been at the middle of the crossfire between the Chinese and the Filipinos. So because of that, we decided to address this because at that time, a lot of people are confused in terms of the loyalty of the CHiNOYs here.
Where does your nationalism or your patriotism lie? Does it lie with where your ancestors come from? Or does it lie with where you were born and raised?
So, our manliligals always ask na may Great Wall ba yung pamilya niyo?
Funnily enough, I have never really dated a lot of Chinese girls. They scare me.
I really would like to grow up like a normal child. I really would like to go to the mall, watch a movie. But had it not been for this training of my parents, I would not be where I am today.
We should not lose out our Asian heritage. Yun ang fear ko, yun ang worry ko is it's easy to lose out our Asianness by all these overwhelming Western cultural influences.
I want to be the voice that starts these uncomfortable conversations, and it's high time that they happen because we have to look at who we are to understand where we come from.
No matter how it is run, this is our country. It is our lupang hinirang. We are just in one country, we are in one boat. Do not say why me, just say why not me.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. Hashtag One CHiNOY is brought to you by Doña Maria Premium Quality Rice, our Filipino farmers' hard work and dedication in every grain. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific.
Back in the 80s and the early 90s, as I recall, dentistry was very, very, I would say, boring. You go to the dentist only if you're in pain. It wasn't about aesthetics, it wasn't about looking good. It's all about when they have a tooth decay and if they're pain or they need a tooth to be extracted, they would visit the dentist. Not much people wanted to become a dentist. I would ask my friends, my classmates, would you want to be a dentist? Let's take up dentistry together. They say, no, thank you. Everything was computer science at the time. We made dentistry very glamorous, very fashionable, and sexy. Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Gan, President and CEO of the GAOC Group of Companies.
Welcome to GAOC's latest branch in BGC. Let me show you around. Over here we have the reception where we have our beautiful receptionist and we have two doctors working on their latest case.
I consider myself Filipino by blood because I really, really love this country. I could have stayed in America and have a very lucrative career, but I chose to come back and contribute to the country. Actually, I was born in Canada. I lived there for 10 years. Then my parents remigrated here back to the Philippines for reasons of my grandfather was very ill during that time. And my father, who's a medical doctor, had to take over his practice. Growing up in our household, a CHiNOY household, my parents were very strict and conservative. They instilled with us the Chinese culture, made sure me and my brother would learn how to speak Chinese. We're a closely knit family. It was all about getting an education. We have to be very obedient. So that would result to no or less TV. During that time, I would remember Voltes 5 was the craze of the country. Every kid who watches Voltes 5 is in. We weren't allowed to watch Voltes 5 because we had to study. We cannot go out at night. We always have to have dinner at 7 p.m. within the family. And of course, no girlfriends till we're 50 years old. No, but seriously, they were very strict that we should just focus on our studies. When I was in high school and college, especially in college, I would have to sneak out, and when I was courting girls, or I would go out on dates, kailangan sa hapon. We would go out at 1 p.m. and I have to be home by 5 p.m. And funny is that the term ligaw in chick, they would always say, why I can't go out at night? They would say, ligaw in chick yun eh. So yan, we grew up in a very strict household. One fateful day when we were going home from our cousins on a Saturday night, my mother gave me the most scathing sermon. Of course, I was in 5th grade that time, 12 years old. I clearly remember this was in Taft Avenue, right beside Santa Isabel College, Rizal Park. And she really said that, Mike, the world is very, very competitive. You have to really work hard in order to survive. And from that day on, I don't know, a fire grew inside in me. Everything that I do should be the best that I can do. So on my first year in college, I decided to take up commerce, just being with the barkada. You know, I was very, very close with my friends, and they mean the world to me. Immediately, of course, my parents who are doctors, they were hoping that I would become a doctor too. But of course, my heart was really, really confused at that time. I remember this day very clearly that I had to go home and I had to rush for lunch because I had to come back for my PE or my physical education class, which was at 2 p.m. So normally I ride the bus and I ride the jeepney to go home, and I would ride the bus and jeepney to go back. But my dad, while driving on the way, he just asked me, "Do you want to take up dentistry?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" I guess he clearly saw me how confused I was during that time. I decided to take up dentistry, and when I became a dentist, once I graduated, the first thing I did was to open up a printing t-shirt factory. Not a dental clinic, but a printing t-shirt factory. So my father again asked me, why don't you take up the oral surgery program in Philippine General Hospital and learn surgery and become a surgeon? So I said again, why not?
All treatment rooms are equipped with the latest state-of-the-art dental chair and equipment.
I went to University of Southern California, USC, and UCLA, and one fateful day, I met Dr. Peter Moy, who gave the most amazing lecture about oral surgery and dental implants. Right there and then, that's where my passion grew. I said, this is the person that I want to become. He introduced to me a different world about dental implants, surgery, and everything that makes dentistry glamorous, prestigious, and sexy.
All rooms are equipped with state-of-the-art internet facilities, which basically provides a network of all our radiographs and information, which is connected to all the branches.
I came back to the Philippines in 1998 with only 3,000 pesos. I have used up all my savings in the US to buy the necessary instruments to start a surgery practice. With 3,000 pesos, we really had to start from the bottom, right? Blood, sweat, and tears. I worked every day till 2006, which was my first vacation. Me and my wife, we didn't have any honeymoon because I had to work, I had to do surgery the next day in order to pay for the wedding cake. So yeah, it was really hard. It was a struggle. We would never turn down any patients, right? I mean, I always make sure that if there's a patient that is available who needs our attention, I always have to make sure that he or she is accommodated. We always have to, no matter how full we are or no matter how tired I am. You know, we treat every patient like it was our last patient in the world. So we give them all the attention, all the care, of course, the quality work, just to make sure that we could have referrals from these patients.
It's a 4K video camera which records the full surgery, and while simultaneously doing the surgery, you could also see it in the screen.
So the year was 2000 and I was growing very fast and seeing quite a number of patients. And of course, during that time, I was still very young. And of course, I wanted to have my dream clinic already. So I decided to buy out my partners. We decided to go on a different direction. And of course, while building a clinic, you need money. Right? You need, as we all know, dentistry is very, very expensive. And of course, I wanted the state-of-the-art office like what we see in the US. Of course, I needed funds, had difficult time balancing my finances. One, I was borrowing money left and right from different kinds of people. And, you know, word would get around, people started to avoid me like the plague. When Mark calls you, don't answer the phone. He's just gonna borrow money from you. So I was very, very desperate. I had to ask assistance from my cousin, and we visited a loan shark. I was told to be there at 5 p.m. I went there at 5 p.m. and guess what? The loan shark was drinking with his buddies, barkada niya. drinking a lot of beer, drinking, having fun. So he told me to wait in the waiting area. We waited for hours. Then when it came 6:30, my cousin started to talk to his friend who's the loan shark and said, "Hey, you know what? My cousin is from the United States. He's an oral surgeon. He studied in the States, and don't worry, he's good for it. He'll pay you back." And I heard very clearly, wala akong pakialam kung saan siya nag-aral. Kailangan niya pera ko, maghintay siya. We waited till 11:30 passed. And finally, my best friend was so angry. His name is Dominic Chung, my best friend. He said, "Mark, come on, let's go." I said, I cannot leave. I need to get this money. If I don't pay, I will be ruined. And he says, "How much do you need?" And I said, 250,000. And he said, "Okay, let's go home. I'll give you the money." I knew that having that first dental clinic in 2001 would spell the difference, It would change the history of dentistry. By 2003, we paid all of our debts, and you can say the rest is history.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. #OneChiNOY is brought to you by Cardinal Santos Medical Center, PG Flex Linoleum, and Maruyama Tarpaulin, Evergreen Cereal, AgriPro, Premier Nutrition Incorporated, Global Diesel and GU Engineering, Nation Paper Products and Printing Corporation, Ford Tractor Philippines, your long-term agriculture partner, Japan Parts Bearing Corporation, now open in Caloocan, Pinturado Sellado Protectado Sigurado, AquaGuard Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, MTN Aesthetic Supplies Incorporated, Wonderful Trading, Unity, your testing specialist, Bavin, the fast charging expert, Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Philippine Xinjiang General Association Incorporated, Grand Family Association of the Philippines Incorporated, Federation of Filipino-Chinese Alumni Association Incorporated, Alejandro Co, Jimmy C, Nung Family, Enrique Chua, Li Pue Chin, Chua Beng Teng, Hong Wen Bing, Albert Ko, Steven Sia, Rosalina Yasay, Thomas Kua, Conchita Go, Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart.
Over here, we have the latest dental CT scan. It's the Nutom VGI Evo. Over here, we have the regular panoramic X-ray.
In dentistry, in order to change the landscape or to be a game changer in dentistry, I had to be different. So of course, when we opened up our first GAOC in 2001, we set up a surgery room. Usually kasi at that time na when you do dental surgeries or bunots, they were calling it, I would change the terminologies. It's not extraction, but it's surgeries. We would create an operating room in a dental clinic before they would do the procedure just in the dental chair. But we would create a surgery room. And this, I learned a lot from Dr. Peter Moy. If we are going to showcase the best, we must have the best. So I got ourselves not only one, but two, a Siemens chair. And at that time, those were the most expensive chair. It was like $1 million for one chair. And it was, people were saying that I was crazy, but I said, it has to be done to give the patients a different quality or a different atmosphere, a different feeling. How did I become to be known as Dentist of the Stars? That's a very interesting and funny story. We started seeing some celebrity patients like the likes of Angel Aquino, Rosel Nava, Lindsay Custodio, Jamie Rivera, Ding Dong Avanzado, who is also my very best friend. And yun, we see quite a number of stars, but nothing to the magnitude like today.
Over here, we have a secret entrance or a second entrance for the special VIPs or super VIPs. So it goes. They have a separate entrance, and we also have, this is a mini reception for them. And over here is our second SVIP room. This is actually the favorite room for most of our patients. They love this room very much.
One day in 2006, I got a referral from one of my referring dentists that Boy Abunda was gonna come to the office. And of course, that time, Boy Abunda had like 4 or 5 TV shows, and he's still the king of talk. And I was so excited, like he's the Oprah Winfrey of the Philippines. And I knew he was very terrified of the dentist, very terrified. Boy came over, had his treatment done, paid, and left. The next thing I know, he was greeting me in national TV. Thank you, Dr. Steve Mark Gan. He came back for his follow-up appointments. We did surgery on him. We worked on implants and all. And to my surprise, we took away his fear of going to the dentist. He was so thankful that he thanked me in national TV again and again and again. And I said, Boy, there's really no need. You're a paying patient. So then he asked me one question. Are patients coming in? And I said, not really. And he started greeting me every day. One Saturday morning when I went to the office, I saw a very, very long line in the office, no? And when I was interviewing the patients, I would say, how can I help you? Where did you come from? How did you know about GAOC? How did you know about me? And one by one, they would say, Boy Abunda. I heard you in Boy Abunda's show. One year later, 2007, I attended the Philippine Dental Association convention, an annual convention. When I was walking in the exhibit hall, I noticed that everybody was just staring at me. You know, they were staring at me and pointing me, this is the guy. And I was just like, I called Boy and I said, Boy, what have you done to me? And he said, enjoy it, Mark, enjoy it. By word of mouth, all the other celebrities started coming in, trying us out. I guess that's how I established myself as the dentist of the stars. So when I came back from the States, I felt it was my responsibility to share the knowledge, expertise, and technologies that what I have seen in the United States now. I believe the Filipinos are the most talented people in the world, especially in the creative arts, you know. As we all know that dentistry is not only science, but it's an art, you know. You have to have very good skill. You need to have a certain eye for color, shape, and beauty.
Of course, we grind the metal, we grind the stone, we wash, and we make cast models, study models. If it's necessary, we have to steam, we steam it as well. Here we have our in-house dental laboratory. It usually takes 7 days, but here we do it in-house in our laboratory, and we can finish it in a day.
The only thing that we lack here in the Philippines is technology. Unlike first world countries, they have technology in the palm of their hands. If only the Filipino dentists could all come together and set aside their differences and focus on hard work, unity, and sacrifice for the betterment of the industry, I believe we can reach there. And I'm very hopeful that the Filipino dentists will emerge as one of the top leading players here in the world.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. Hashtag One CHiNOY is brought to you by Cardinal Santos Medical Center, Evergreen Cereal, AgriPro, Premier Nutrition Incorporated, Global Diesel and GU Engineering, Nation Paper Products and Printing Corporation, Ford Tractor Philippines, your long-term agriculture partner, Pinturado Sellado Protectado Sigurado, AquaGuard Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Philippine-Xinjiang General Association Incorporated, Philippine Long Tong Hai Fraternity Incorporated, and Philippine Long Tong Hai Chamber of Commerce Incorporated, President Raymond Uy, Philippine Xinjiang Longhu Association and Philippine Xinjiang Longhu Chamber of Commerce Incorporated, Philippine-Chinese Commerce and Industry Overseas Association Incorporated, Philippine Xinlian Association, Overseas Chinese Alumni Association of the Philippines, Alejandro Ko, Jimmy C, Nung Family, Chua Beng Teng, Hong Wen Bing, Albert Ko, Stephen Sia, Rosalina Yasay, Jaime Lim, Victor Chua, Sherwin Choi, Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart.
We had a family business. We had a hardware business and some other things. My grandfather was a pretty forward-looking guy. He let his daughters go to school. And it was also my grandfather who had some kind of an unwritten rule that daughters in the family do not get involved in the main family business. Were not given shares in the family business, but they were given an inheritance.
Well, I guess growing up, both of my parents were very business-minded, but they weren't always focused on just business. I was just very fortunate because my mom and my dad were also open to the arts and other industries. But regarding to opening businesses with friends and family, I think there's a sense of trust when it comes to opening a business with someone you know and someone who you have personal history with. I'm sure a lot of people might think that us CHiNOYs would want to keep it only between us CHiNOY, the CHiNOY community per se, but it's more of a sense of trust and just knowing another person, because I have a lot of friends as well who are CHiNOYs, but they partner up with Filipinos, they partner up with other Southeast Asians or even businesses in Europe. And it's just so nice because they make it work. And I haven't opened a business with my family and friends yet. But I guess if I did have the chance to do that, I would definitely want to do it with someone I trust and someone I know, because I would rather have it with someone I know and someone I can trust with my money and trust with my aspirations and goals.
I don't think it's an exclusively CHiNOY thing based on my experience naman with the people I grew up around. And if anything, my generation of CHiNOYs is actually growing more and more averse towards getting into the family business or just keeping it within the family for a couple of reasons. One is there's an inherent lack of work-life balance when you're working in the family business. So, ibig sabihin nun, there are some families who will be unable to avoid discussing the family business while they're at the dinner table. And for our generation where mental health is becoming more and more of a key discussion point, sobrang hirap nun because di ba nakaka-stress pag-usapan yung negosyo among the family when sometimes you're having dinner, you just want to talk to your family or you just want some time to yourself. Another reason which is connected to the work-life balance thing is how in a family business, there are no holidays, there are no days off. And that probably is connected to the immigrant mentality that our older generations really had to take on when they moved to the Philippines. On the other hand,
Meron din namang mga nagtatry ng pumasok and they're trying to modernize things. They're trying to digitalize yung negosyo nila. And nagkakaroon din ng conflict because the older generation, they don't entirely understand the concept of e-commerce or the concept of making sure your business has a social media presence. So these are things na mas alam na ng generation natin na it's harder to explain to mama, to papa, to ama, to angkong, or the uncles and aunties.
Striking while the iron is hot, it creates opportunities, it opens more doors, it opens more referrals, more business opportunities. Hard work will truly make you lucky. I always remember Denzel Washington's speech in the University of Pennsylvania. In life, you will fail and you will fall, and that's normal. And remember, when you fall, it's not how hard you fall, but it's how fast you can get up. It's okay to cry. If you have to cry, then cry. Cry for a day. Tomorrow, the following day, you have to get up. You have to pull yourself up, and that's what's gonna define you, who you are. I believe that the modern CHiNOY are very versatile people. They're very resilient. They adapt to the changes, to the times. They're very entrepreneurial. They always come up with new ideas. They amaze me with their new ideas. And they also are very compassionate. I always believe in the saying, you can never put a price to goodwill. Mangyagaw sang, or wag mabilang. It doesn't matter what level you are. You can be a rank or file or a boss, but everything you do that you shouldn't count. It has to be given compassionately and wholeheartedly. Never let success get in your head. Sang putiao, pai punay. When you succeed, don't be boastful. When you fail, don't be disheartened. You have to learn to become a good person. Magpakatao ka. It's really hard to explain this, but it's more of a combination of being fair, just, considerate, accountable, and understanding to others. In short, you have to do what is right in every situation. So, lang, and that I believe is the most important Chinese value that we have to pass to the next generation.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. #OneChinoy was brought to you by Doña Maria Premium Quality Rice, our Filipino farmers' hard work and dedication in every grain. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific. CHiNOY TV would like to thank